So that's why you, as a product marketer, you are misunderstood, if I had to quote, because they just don't get what is the value that you bring. So you shouldn't be building a nice portfolio of activities because the salespeople ask you to do something, because the product guys ask you to do something. No. What is the link between your plan as a product marketer and the plan of the company or the strategic directions of the company?
Ciao, io sono Marco Imperato e ti do il benvenuto su Product Heroes. Product Heroes è il punto di riferimento in Italia per il product management. Finora abbiamo aiutato oltre 200.000 persone tramite master, formazione in azienda, guide, articoli, meetup e la Product Heroes Conference. Lo facciamo anche attraverso questo canale in cui intervisto product leader che spaccano e che potranno darti tantissimi consigli utili per migliorare il tuo modo di costruire, lanciare e muovere le metriche del tuo prodotto. Oggi sono davvero gasatissimo nel presentarti Tatévik Kachikian, che è Head of Product Marketing in The Fork. Tatévik è veramente una persona straordinaria e ha un percorso incredibile e ricco di esperienze. Nel corso della nostra chiacchierata esploreremo il suo background unico, dalle consulenze alla sua carriera nel mondo del prodotto, fino al suo impegno in un'organizzazione no profit in Armenia, di cui è anche co-founder. Con lei ci addentreremo nel cuore del product marketing, analizzando le sfide e le strategie per eccellere in questo ruolo. Con Tatévik parleremo di come definire il product marketing e le sue funzioni principali, come posizionare il team e comunicare efficacemente il proprio ruolo all'interno dell'organizzazione, come bilanciare strategia e operatività, come misurare l'impatto delle attività di marketing con esempi concreti, come evitare i classici errori comuni nella creazione di strategie, come integrare strategie di mercato con l'azienda e soprattutto che cosa è una strategia di prodotto, come gestire la collaborazione tra product manager e product marketing manager ed evitare overlap di ruoli, come sviluppare competenze fondamentali per un product manager di alto livello e poi tanti consigli pratici e spunti concreti per accelerare la tua crescita come futuro product marketing manager di successo. Ciao Tatévik, welcome to Product Heroes.
Ciao Marco, thanks for receiving me.
So happy to have you here. We have a super interesting conversation a couple of weeks ago. So Tatévik Kachikian, I made it with the right pronunciation.
Well
He's head of product at The Fork. She responds directly to the CEO of the company. And today we are talking mainly about product marketing, but in a much more different way because Tatévik has a very unique approach to the subject. So we will talk about strategic product marketing, operational product marketing, what's your role as a product marketing, why you have to show value even in your role, otherwise we'd be a mess to show value in your product, and so forth. So before starting with the first question, I had many questions for you.
Yes.
I would like to understand your path. So how did you become head of product marketing at The Fork? What's your story?
So I have a very original career path. I've really started from something completely different. I started with financial services and strategy consulting, which was super cool because it helped me to build my analytical skills, be super data-driven, business-driven. But then I got bored a little bit. Then I wanted to switch to something a little bit cooler. So I tried to set up my own startup in InsurTech. And I failed quickly, I would say. But then I didn't stop there. I was like, you can do it. And I launched an NGO in Armenia that I've been managing for more than 6-7 years now. And I really then switched to tech for mainly working for either big corporates such as Cisco or small or medium-sized startups. And I discovered product marketing at Cisco, actually. It was a pure opportunistic, I would say, meeting with this function. And then I loved it, and I continued, actually. And I joined The Fork a year and a half ago as the head of product marketing.
Cool. What's the NGO is about? Would you like to talk a little bit about it?
NGO
because
is
I think it's a very good thing you made, but you did it like, I did an NGO, that's it.
The NGO is actually helping poor villages in Armenia to develop. And I'm leading small and big projects, whether it's in the protection of the environment, cleaning the villages and blooming them, or big infrastructure projects such as opening schools or centers to receive kids so that they can, play and develop. And my next step is to open a small hotel.
Really?
To be inclusive, welcoming people with, who were victims of the war, of the recent war in Armenia. So we will offer them jobs and try
Nice.
to reactivate the community.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Super nice. So, jumping into the product marketing topic. First of all, why product marketing? I mean, you've been an entrepreneur. You worked in a very big corporate. You worked in tech, and then you choose product marketing. Why?
Yeah.
Is there any specific reason for that?
Yeah. There are two reasons. The first one is that it's really the function where I'm managing to use this palette of skills that I've acquired during this diverse career path that I've had. From, strategic thinking to pure operational execution, from being super analytical and data-driven to being highly creative or crazily creative, from being super flexible and agile to being extremely rigorous in the way I lead my projects. This is what I like about this function. You need really to swing from one dimension to another and go from one skill set to another. So this is what I like. The second thing that I really, really love is that because you are at the crossroad of different functions between product and the rest of the organization, you are in a privileged position to have a 360 degree view, on the entire company and on the dynamics of the company, which gives you a competitive advantage compared to other teams, because you can understand what's going on, which gives you a playground on which you can act, whether it's purely on product topics, but also on other business go-to-market related topics. So for me, it's a privileged position.
Okay. In our previous conversation, we were talking about how much we hate product marketing being misunderstood, because everyone thinks it's a strange function that neither product, neither marketing, but it's quite easy. I don't mean that it's easy to be a good product marketing, but it's very easy to define. So can I have your definition of the product marketing role or function?
For me, we do two things. The first one is we are triggers of change, and I'm weighting my words. We are here to trigger change. Second, we are here to accelerate good products, the go-to-market of good products. And I'm weighting also my words. A product that has a need, at least have some signals that there is a market fit, a product that works. Very often, product marketing is called to compensate a product that is more or less working, or a product team that is a little bit fluffy or shaky, These are the two functions for me of a product marketing team.
I find super interesting the first point, obviously the second one, but it's easier to get. You trigger change. Why?
Yes.
What do you mean?
You trigger change. It's really related to the previous point that I've told, which is you have a 360-degree view of the company. You can act. You can, by a smart way of managing your stakeholders, building relationship with the leadership team, you can be an important stakeholder to influence the company decisions and have an impact on the revenue of the company or the key metrics of the company, may it be revenue or market penetration or usage or adoption of the product. So I really positioned my team like that, as a internal and neutral team of guys who are there to have an impact and who are not there to represent product interest, the business interest, marketing interest, who are there to represent the end user, and at the same time keeping in mind the interest of the company and the business objectives of the company. So when you position your team like that, people consider you differently, consider your recommendations differently. We're not here to give lessons to the business, but we express our opinion, and so far we've been heard.
It's very interesting that you talk about positioning of your team,
Yes.
whose job is to position products in the market.
Exactly. I think it's a crash test. If you want to be a good PMM, let's start from the basics, Let's start by positioning already your team properly and being consistent in the way you are, what you do, and how you communicate about the value that you bring as a team. It is a crash test. And honestly, in my previous experiences, sometimes I failed doing it properly. And I know if there is one lesson that I keep, is really that, like just position yourself and your team properly and communicate properly the value that you bring.
This is the first time I see a product marketing executive reporting directly to the CEO, because usually the product marketing function is under product or marketing. So this is a clear choice of the company. How this thing is perceived by, competition, stakeholders? Was it hard at the beginning?
I think Work is not the only company where the CEO takes over the position of the CPO as well, because product becomes such a core to the business. Product drives the business that it is quite well perceived internally. Externally, I don't know. If I take the example of the Airbnb, I think at Airbnb as well, the CEO is the CPO of the company as well. So because it has become the core of the business. This is what drives the business.
Okay, in all this, scenario, so it's a very hard job. How do you balance strategic and operational product marketing? And if you can explain the difference between the two.
For me, when I say strategic product marketing, is really, okay, as a product marketing team, how am I influencing companies' these decisions? And how am I bringing value to the company's top line?
Okay.
And when I say operational product marketing, I mean truly how I support with my team the go-to-market of our product and our features. And this is very, very operational. You build the launch plan, you coordinate all the stakeholders that are involved, etc., etc. So, and how I switch from one to another within the same day. You can talk to the marketing representative in a country as you can talk to the leadership of the company, and you need to switch from one to another all the time. And it requires this kind of hybrid type of skill set that I talked already. But that's the game, and that's the beauty of our job, actually.
Let's say I am a founder. Mm-hmm. I'm doing quite well, but not so well. And someone told me, okay, you need to do a go-to-market strategy. And I say, okay, what's a go-to-market strategy? So how would you explain in a very easy word what a go-to-market strategy is? And if you have a very simple framework to nail a go-to-market strategy, to start drafting one.
Yes. So a go-to-market strategy is the set of stuff, the set of activities that you need to do to put your product, put your feature in the hands of your end user. That's very simple. But this is a coordinated effort. It's not just product marketing trying to do stuff, but how product marketing is going to build the plan, putting together all the stakeholders that are involved, and being the engine, the driving force to make this happen.
Okay.
So when I do a go-to-market strategy, I put the right stakeholders around the table. So you need to be able to identify. I set up the list of activities for the launch, defining very clearly who is doing what are the roles and responsibilities, what is the time frame, and what are the rules of the game. Transparency, when do we want to deliver? So it's very kind of sharp, and it has to be super straight,
Okay.
This is for big product launches or packages of features that you need to deal with.
Can we say that the go-to-market strategy is a list of hypotheses? Because you write, if we do that, we will obtain this.
You are right. It could be perceived as a list of hypotheses, but it's more than hypotheses. There are concrete actions. But those actions have to bring something to the company, right? So the challenging part is how then you prove the efficiency of your go-to-market actions.
That's the question. So how do you do that?
So for me, and it's funny because this is exactly what I'm doing in the coming days.
Okay.
It's super. It's cool that you are asking that question. What we've decided with my team is to look at company objectives. So revenue, in terms of usage and adoption of the product, in terms of wins against the competition. And then what we're going to do is to try to measure the impact of our go-to-market actions on those metrics. And we will need to create a link and go and build the right reportings, the right data to show that what we do has an impact on those top level metrics. You need to try to create that link. Otherwise, you are not credible. You are not taken seriously. Okay, you've done stuff, which is cool and good. It's good that you are doing in-app communication. We are doing in-app communication. We are sending emails to our customers. But then show me the link. Show me the link between the adoption or the usage of the product. And you need to prove, you need to show concretely through the metrics. And there is a data work to be done. Sometimes data is not available, so you need to go and find the right sources, to find the right reportings, but you need to do it.
Okay, our users, our listeners, they love to see or hear concrete examples, like real examples. Yeah. Can you do one for us, even in past companies, or if you don't want to mention specific product or features? Because super interested to understand properly what you're saying. So the link between what you are planning to do and the real impact on the metrics. But I'm pretty sure that if someone is watching and want to start, if you do an example, can be easier.
So I can give you an example. At the work, we have a great B2B software that helps restaurants to manage their restaurants, the bookings and their restaurant operations. And when I joined, we were not reaching the right level of usage of that software. We were quite low, and one of the reasons why we weren't reaching the right level of usage because we weren't communicating enough about the features and all the changes that we were doing. So with my team, we've decided to activate in-app communication. Very simple example, in-app communication, but also communication through emails to announce the features and to show how those features work. And we did it almost for the past 8 months. And the impact on the usage is plus 4%, which is quite high actually, in less than a year, reaching and hitting, and drive the usage for at least 4%, which is, one simple example. You come, there is an issue, you identify the right channels, you act, but then you need to measure.
Okay. Super interesting. Talking about strategy.
Yes.
So everyone loves to create strategy, to draft strategy. I want to be a strategic guy or girl, and I hate that. Not because it's not funny or interesting to craft strategy, but I think strategy is one of the most misunderstood words in our, business in tech. What's your take on strategy? What's strategy for you? And what's the most common mistake when you craft a strategy?
I remember having followed a program at INSEAD about strategy execution. And the professors and the researchers who were, delivering this program kickstarted the program saying 99% of strategies fail. This program is all about learning you how to avoid failing in crafting strategies. So, and this figure is not just theory, it's really the result of the researchers. And my definition of strategy is how you as a team, as a company, as an organization, what is your ability to adapt to the crazy changes that are happening around you. Could be shifts in the market, competitive, attacks, or shifts within your organization, a new product direction. How are you able to embrace this change, these numerous changes, while driving others, inspiring others within your organization, and having a vision? This is for me the definition, my take on the word of definition, of strategy, sorry. And the common mistakes about crafting a strategy is to consider that you craft a strategy at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, and then you check it out at the end of the year, So let's have a look at what happened. You need to have clear checkpoints of where you are in your plan, and it has to be a ritual really that is integrated in your team's habits. When it comes to product marketing, for me, a good product marketing strategy is a strategy that has a direct link with the company's strategic plan. If there is no link, it means that you haven't picked the right topics. So for me, it's super important when I'm crafting the product marketing strategy to make sure that I have a direct link to the company with the company priorities and company metrics, that I'm going to be a key contributor to that.
What's the most common mistakes beyond not having a link between the company goal and the product strategy?
You're just building a plan that is more a portfolio of activities, that you're not even able to measure at the end of the year. So that's why you, as a product marketer, you are misunderstood, if I had to quote, because they just don't get what is the value that you bring. So you shouldn't be building a nice portfolio of activities because the salespeople ask you to do something, because the product guys ask you to do something. No. What is the link between your plan as a product marketer and the plan of the company or the strategic directions of the company? That's for me the key on this one.
Where do you usually start from? So if you have to craft a new strategy, what's the first thing you do usually?
So the product roadmap is, of course, going to drive a lot my own plan, you know. So the starting point, the very first basics are, so what do we have in the product roadmap for next year? What are the go-to-market activities on which I will need to contribute? This is the starting point, but not the only one. Also, as I already mentioned, I always keep in my strategic planning a space where I know that I might have some great ideas during the course of the year. So I need to foresee that, that space for some surprises or or non-expected ideas that I can have. And I've always secured that space in the plan that I build.
Okay, so you mentioned product roadmap that usually is part of the PM responsibility. And how do PM and PMM live together? An happy life. So how do they complement each other? How do they manage overlaps? And we talked a lot about this topic in our previous conversation.
For me, the roles are really different. A PM, if I take the example of the fork, a PM is a little CEO at the fork that has to manage a budget, a bunch of guys, engineers, product designers, content designers, product marketers as well. And their job is to craft great products. We as a PMM, we are here to accelerate the go-to-market of those products. And the way we work is to be highly integrated. My team members are in all the routines of PMs within the org. So we see and we participate in all the phases to craft a product, a feature. So we are there from the beginning. And one important aspect is really to be part of the product organization, because you can see also PMM sitting within marketing organizations. From my experience, I believe that it is better, and again, it's my opinion, to sit within the product organization, because you are even, I think it empowers you to better do the bridge between product and the rest of the organization. So highly integrated within product teams. We are not considered as stakeholders. We are team members.
Okay.
And this is super important to work hand in hand together.
So there is not a phase in which the PMM integrates into the PM since the very beginning. Since
the beginning, we are all the time there.
Did you participate in the product discovery phase? Are you part of that? Do you
My
lead?
team members are, and then it depends also on the size of your PMM team. When you have one PMM for 6-7 PMs, you can imagine it's very hard to be in all the meetings, etc., discovery phase, etc. So we pick up our battles, we pick up the right instances, of course. But if my team was even bigger, I'm sure that we will go to all the routines. But this is a key point. Really have that collaboration, that proximity with product is just essential to properly do our job of PMM.
How do you manage overlaps between PMM and PMM?
I'm happy when PMs take over the role of a PMM. It means that we are doing properly our job. When the PM starts thinking about its competitive environment, when the PM is able to put herself in the shoes of the end user, if the PM is able to think about packaging and pricing, I'm super happy. So it's not a question of building overlaps. I think or avoiding overlaps. We are not overlapping at all. And what I like in the way I collaborate with PMs at the Fork is that they actually come and see us at the right moment when they need us. And for me, that's the peak of great collaboration. I'm not obliged to be in all the meetings. When they come to see me, they want a neutral, external point of view on a topic where they are stuck. And very often they come to see me, you know. And I love that way of doing things, you know. Questions around value proposition, positioning, they come to see us. So we are, there is a moment where you are not obliged to go to all the meetings. When you manage to make them understand the value that you bring, the cycle is reversed. They come to see you for the needs that they have, or they put in the right meetings. So you are not obliged to be everywhere. They put it in the right meetings, so they know that you're going to bring something. So I don't see overlaps. If there are overlaps, I'm super happy actually to see that they are integrating the job. But what I refuse is PMMs doing the job of a PM, you know. Because that's not our job. We are product marketers, we are not product managers. And in some organizations, product marketing is used as a compensation power. And I've already experienced that. And believe me, it's painful. You know, it's really, really painful. And it doesn't work at the end. Because you are not doing the job of a PM, because you are not a PM. And you're not doing your job properly as a PMM, so the end result is not super cool, you know. So, yeah.
Well, talking about good PMs,
yes.
What's, from your point of view, the most important skill for a PM to have?
The most important skill is being able to understand the business challenges of your user or the needs of your users. And this is where sometimes we are really far from the reality. We have product guys who are overqualified with the super diplomas from the best business schools, engineering schools, but who are not able to understand the basic needs of the end users. So very often they are going to come with some over complex products or features, and then you are asking basic questions. Okay, why are you doing that? What is the need behind? And you have 15 minutes of an answer. Well, it doesn't work. You know, it doesn't work like that. So it's very rare to find PMs who have the right business understanding or the needs of their end users, and who have the humility to go and to talk to their users. Back to basics, you know. How many interviews have you done with your user to bring that feature, you know, on your roadmap? Where does it come from? So for me, it's that. I think there is a data and analytical set of skill set that they have to master. I think it's extremely important. Stakeholder management. You know, as a PM, you are also sitting in the middle of so many stakeholders. You need to be able to talk the same languages as your audience. And humility. Humility to be questioned, to be challenged. And as a PMM, my job is also to challenge PMs. And it's very clear at the Fork, and it is very well accepted, actually. And okay. This is what I like about the PMs at the Fork, is that they are super open-minded, and they're fun, which is very, very important. And they are like, and I'm quoting that, to be roasted by PMM guys, roasted. This is the verb that one of those PMs used a few weeks ago. I was shocked, but I was like, okay, it's just to say that we are also challenging them. This is part of our job. It happened to me, Marco, that I refused to launch a product. I promise you, it wasn't very pleasant. And of course, I'm not sure that was.
Can you tell me this story, please?
I can. So product guys in another experience, not at the fork, brought me a product, which was literally slightly different with some tweaks and changes of a first version that we already tried to launch that wasn't working. So they brought me another version of the first product with little tweaks, and they were like, Tatévik, you need to launch this as a separate product. Not replacing the previous one, but as a separate product, which is a total nonsense. I said, no, I'm not going. I don't know how to position that. I do not know. Genuinely, I do not know how to position. So I invited the PMs to position the product, and they tried, and then I left the company, and it didn't work. Of course, it didn't work. But when I was talking about humility, is humility to listen, actually, to listen people who are neutral, who have an opinion, who have an understanding of the market and the needs. And I think it is important, humility.
Yeah, it's super important. And actually, the ability just to the reply to the question, why are you building this, can unlock, is the difference between building something for someone or just building something for the sake of building.
Absolutely.
And so the next question is very natural to me, because from what you're saying is very hard. Obviously a PM should be on the market, otherwise you're building something no one. But the PMM has to stay on the market as well. So absolutely. The question, based on Airbnb, Stripe choices, to having kind of PMs, but maybe more product designer, more product marketing, more product engineers. So what's the evolution of product marketing?
Yeah. It's hard to kind of foresee, what's going to be the job of product marketing, how the function will evolve. What I can tell you for sure is that product marketing will have a much more prominent role in Europe. We are still at the beginning of product marketing, whereas in the US it is an established function for already 20, 30 years, if not more. So for me, we are just at the beginning. I think the companies that will understand that having a great product is not enough, that you need also something else, a go-to-market strategy that supports your product, forcibly will enhance the role of product marketing within the companies. And this is what I am also experiencing at the fork now. In 1.5 years, we've showed the value that we brought, and we are being trusted, and we are being provided more resources to even go further and have much more impact. So for me, much more prominent role, maybe more integration with PMs, even stronger, or even going towards the Airbnb direction, where they literally a year ago decided to actually delete the role of PMs and completely combine them into product marketing. Might be a direction. And for companies who are taking the path of product-led growth, I think we're going to have a crucial role there to craft an experience of self-service that is super, super simple, with the right communication and supporting tutorials. So I think, and this is a direction that we are also taking at the fork, I think my team's role is going to be important in that direction, and we might look like almost a growth team as well. Growth could be a next step for us. So I think we are bound to expand and have just a greater role and much more strategic role in the company, even more than we do now.
Talking about growth,
Yes.
It's hard to define. I mean, it depends on companies, industries, and the phase of the company. But how can you separate growth from product marketing? Because at the end, the example you made at the very beginning with the in-app notification to drive product usage isn't growth?
It is a part of that, and I really believe that, again, this is a path that we are going to take more and more. I think we are going to end up with hybrid teams of PMs, engineers, potentially marketing teams sitting together and nurturing the engine of growth. And this is a direction for me that we might take in the coming months, even at the fork. I don't think that we will sit separately. I think we will need a kind of a super integrated hybrid team to work together. If I take the example of in-app comms, then okay, what does it mean? Then the product guys take the results of the in-app communications, analyze them, then we switch potentially the user journey, then we adapt consequently the communications that we send. So it is a logic that you need to put in place, that PMs cannot drive on their own, or PMMs on their own. We need to just sit together. That's why I'm talking about integrated kind of hybrid teams.
The last two questions that are always the same. So first
Yes.
one, what's the biggest mistake you made during your career? I mean, we want to know the most valuable lesson you've learned
About
during
product marketing.
Yeah, mostly.
You need to be consistent and clear about what you do, the impact you have, and it has to be crystal clear in your communication and in the positioning of your team. It is extremely important. It's not just about the image that you reflect, etc. The clarity of what you do and the communication is extremely important. So let's don't complain about the fact that PMMs are not understood. You need to prove your value, show your value, and communicate about the value you bring. And the second mistake is to play the role of compensation of product teams. No, you are a separate function. You need to bring your value by yourself.
What's the mistake beyond this lesson? Is there one?
I think it backs to your person as a PMM or a head of PMM or VP or whatever, who you are, the title you have. I think it really depends on the level of maturity that you have in that function. Because when you start as a PMM or head of PMM and you are quite young in that function, well, you want to show the value that you bring, right? So when you are asked to do the PM's job, well, you're going to do it. But the thing is that at the end, when you check the results are not there. It's confusing. So for me, it really depends on the maturity of the person in charge, and what is the culture that you're also going to build within your team.
Okay, last question. Let's say I am a marketer, or I am a product manager or a product designer. I want to jump into the product marketing. I listen to Tatévik and I say, okay, I want to become like her. So what's the most important skill, in your opinion, for a PMM?
It's empathy. it's empathy, because we are required all the time to put ourselves in the shoes of a competitor, of your end user, of your client, of your stakeholders. So you need to have a great ability to put yourself in the shoes of someone. If you have that, you have quite a chance to succeed in that field.
Okay, thank you very much, Tatévik. It was really inspiring, and I hope to see you soon in Italy.
Thank you so much for having me, Marco. It was a pleasure.
Ciao.
Ciao, bye.
Grazie per aver ascoltato questo episodio di Product Heroes. Se l'hai trovato utile, iscriviti su YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, insomma, dove ascolti i tuoi podcast normalmente, così non ti perderai neanche un episodio. Prima di andare via, vota con 5 stelline questo podcast o scrivi un commento, una recensione. Questo ci aiuterà a raggiungere sempre più persone e quindi aumentare la diffusione della cultura di prodotto in Italia, che poi è la nostra mission finale. Quindi il podcast è soltanto uno dei tanti modi che Product Heroes utilizza per spingere la cultura di prodotti. Trovi maggiori informazioni e tutte le attività che svolgiamo su prodottheroes.it. Ciao e alla prossima!